Hey, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, how was your day so far?
It's been good. It's been good. It's only 10 o'clock here, so I'm like just awake for like an hour or two, having some coffee.
Wonderful, wonderful, lovely.
Hi, hi, hi.
Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yep.
you.
Cool, perfect, perfect. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, good morning. So, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. A day at home today, so trying to do some home chores.
Good, good, good.
Let
Yeah. So,
me see.
guys, your new LP 2 is to be out on October 25th. So, would you like to tell me a bit on the songwriting and the production behind this upcoming LP?
Yeah, sure. So the album two is like a logical sequence to the first album we wrote. So we we try to find, because it's like musically also connected. It's not like listening to the first album and the end it's done, and the second part it's like a start and an ending. No, it ties in together musically. Um, so we try to find a way that works for us to connect those two. And normally what we do is I remember we wrote like the first 15 minutes basically in the same year that we finished one. So we have that the first 15 minutes we have laying around there like for a couple of years. And then we started to rewrite some stuff, look for a way to connect it further, to continue the story. So yeah, and what we normally do is I come up with some stuff, some riffs, um, and then I take it back to Toon and to Lynn, and then we work around with it, check what's good, what's not good, how are we going to continue it. So yeah, and that's how we get a full album.
Fantastic. And was there any particular concept or a storyline behind too?
um, Lyrically, I always find, because I'm writing the lyrics, I always find like I, as we have the continuation musically, I also want to have it lyrically. Um, the How I write for Mother is I'm always looking for like a story to tell, to incorporate my own thoughts and feelings into it, but I also want to keep it somewhat vague. So it's like, so everyone who reads the lyrics has a point of attachment to it. So it's not like this person is going to do this and that and that and that, then that happens. No, it needs to be like somewhat vague, somewhat like um, that everybody can have some points where they're like in their lives they're like I can see myself
Hmm.
happening. So there is a story, of course. There's a protagonist who is not like named. It's just a person, and there is a mother figure in the story, and they have like a connection, which is somewhat from the mother's perspective, is somewhat egotistic, but there's also like a need to comfort the main character. Um, so it's like going forth and back between the persons, between the characters, looking for. No, I'm not looking for. Sorry. It's like the main character goes through some stuff, and that's written down, and then the mother figure is trying to help him out, but in her own way is also like keeping him for himself. So that gives this kind of love hate relationship, but it's somehow necessary for both parties. So yeah, it's it's a bit intense. It's also a continuation of the first album, because in the first album it's more like a soft exploration of how things could go, and then in the second album it goes really into the two characters, into the storyline they go through, and there is some options for a next album to go. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, because the lyrics are on purpose a bit vague, because it gives a lot of options to think about. But of course it makes it also quite difficult to explain, because it's like it's about this or that. It's about a lot of things. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I had the privilege to listen to two totally mind-blowing work from you guys, like the continuation of the music, the black metal essence that is combined with progressive metal and a lot of melodies. It came out so beautiful. So from the start to end, it's totally an awesome experience to listen to this song. So I want to thank you guys so much for putting up something
Thank you.
so amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as a creator, so how do you guys feel about the work that you have done?
I think it's a never-ending story of like finding details that could or should be better. But I think that's for every artist a thing, to be like, it's a never-ending story. So I think when we did the recording now, it was like, this is a moment in time that we recorded and how we feel about it. But there's always some like, oh, we should have done this. Oh, we should have done that. Oh, maybe we should have changed that snare drum or that guitar sound or whatever. But we're very keen when we're recording to make like, to not like every measure to like edit the shit out of it, but like when we're recording, we have this idea, just like the album itself. It's a 40-minute album. We record in very big pieces. Like for drums, for instance, we go from break to break. So it could be that I'm playing for 10 minutes before there's a break. But it could also be like 5 minutes, and then we try to piece it out like this. And this time we also did, I think we did 3 complete run-throughs of the album. So we had some options, and like, oh, it's played on the ride on this fill, it's played on the hi-hat on that one, so which one do we prefer? And then it's just a sound thing going on. But like, yeah, I think drums we did in 2 days.
Yeah, it's like for Mother, we want to have the most raw production as possible. Of course, we want it to be listenable, but we want it to feel raw and authentic. That's why we chose to do the drums in such a long parts. So it's not like you hear that everything is quantized to the click. We want it to flow a bit. So creation-wise, like musically, it's really what we want to do with Mother, and it fits perfectly. We also, it's like our 3rd album. 1, then we did the interludes, then 2. We also found our way now for the 3rd album to feel what's best for us, how we need to do the way we record and make music. So I also feel like for the next album we'll be right there on point. And then creation-wise, like Toon says, there's always some stuff afterwards. You're like, oh shit, we should have done it different. But yeah, we're the creators, so we've also heard like the music like too much. So it's always like nitpicking over the little things, and I feel like maybe as a listener, if you're listening for the first time, the experience is completely different than ours, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, we do not experience it in the same way. So for us, it's like we've been working so hard on it that the first listen is already gone in a way, which is also like a pity. But that's kind of the way it goes, I think.
And any particular reason not having a title for the song and the LP, just naming it too? Is there any particular reason behind it?
I think I'm not sure how it went in the beginning, but I remember we might had some ideas about how we wanted to be called, but giving it a name is also like, yeah, you give it a name, so it's like based in time. I don't know. So I think that's one of the reasons that we went for 1 and 2, with an interlude in between. The interlude itself does have a name because it's like something different next to the full albums. But it maybe it's also like making it obvious to the audience that it is a sequel, it is a continuation of the first album. There might be a third album. Then obviously it's pretty obvious what's the name, what the name is going to be. But yeah, it felt like the proper way to do it. I'm pretty sure if I will make music with another band, I would never do it again, because it feels like this is good
Supposed to be
for
like
that
this.
kind of music. Yeah.
And it's also, when you keep the titles very simple, like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
it's reminiscent of chapters in a book, and by
Yeah.
not naming it, it also is a continuation of the other storyline that's happening, that's pretty vague, so you can actually make up your own
That's right.
chapter title
Yeah.
for it, in a way.
Gotcha. Awesome. Awesome. And you have released a video teaser for the LP release, but do you guys have planned to come up with an official music video for this?
No. No. No, because I think in the band we're not that kind of music video people. I think for the interlude we did it because it was like a shorter song. It was like, I think it was 13 minutes.
Shorter.
So yeah, you can do it for a 13 music video, but like making a music video for a 40-minute album is like such a tedious and a precision work, and it also feels like, how do we visualize the story? Like, because you have the option to just film ourselves as a band, but like watching us for 40 minutes might get boring. So then you need the visual story, and maybe the idea of like filling in the blanks visually might do away of the story as you read it and experience it musically. Because of course, how do you visualize the mother figure? How do you visualize the protagonist? And the moment you do that, it might be like too narrow for a listener, because it's like, okay, that's what they wanted to show, but we want everybody to have their own separate experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And any plans on the day of the release on October 25th?
Any plans? I think I have to work. That's first. But the 23rd, 2 days before, we're going to do a listening party or a listening session, however you want to call it. We're going to do it at our label in their physical store. We're going to do like a small listening session together with the fans, everybody who wants to show up and listen to the music together. So that's a big thing for us, because we've never done it, and it will be weird to have people listening to our music for the first time in our presence. So I hope they like it. And then on the 25th, the album comes out, and I hope people receive it well. And then, of course, we're looking to play some shows, to bring the music live. Yeah, but not too crazy. There's not going to be like a party when the album releases.
Or are you guys planning to have some big worldwide kind of touring probably next year?
We don't have any concrete plans. It might be an option. For us, it's always like trying to figure out how we bring our music, when we bring our music. So if the opportunity arises, of course, to go international, we'll definitely like think about it and probably say yes to it. But of course, it's also definitely nowadays a financial decision.
Yeah.
So it will be a combination of multiple factors. Yeah.
And speaking on the release, like what are the things that you have planned to do? You plan to have vinyls, CD with a booklet to depict the story that you're trying to tell through the songs. So what are the plans on this?
Um, well, Hitler, do you want to say something, or do I take this
No,
question?
you can do. You can
Okay.
do.
Well, we have the vinyls, of course. We have them in two versions: the colored version and the black version. They are both quite limited, if I do say so myself. We have the CDs, which have the visual interpretation of the vinyl, because when we released one, we didn't have CDs in the beginning. We just went for vinyl because we felt like this is the way we want to release it. And then with the label consoling, they were like, we do get a lot of questions for CDs. Are you willing to do it? And we're like, yes, of course. So it's like the CDs are an interpretation of what we feel like the vinyls are. Of course, we hope they sell out. I have like a good feeling about them. And like visually, I hope people will understand the moment they have the second vinyl and the first vinyl, or maybe they already know that if you put the first vinyl and the second vinyl next to each other, they are part of a bigger artwork.
Yeah.
So yeah, could be, I hope people like it. Yeah. Do we have other ideas or plans with the vinyls? No, let them just sell out. Let them just sell. I hope they sell out. Would be cool.
We have some special stuff arranged for the listening session we do for the people who attend. So that will only be strictly limited for that occasion.
But we're not going to say what it is.
No, we're not going to say.
No, it's still a secret. Yeah.
And guys, like it's since the band started, like it's now 2 albums from you guys. So how do you feel about the road that you have traveled so far?
It's been quite a hefty one, actually. I think it's kind of searching, finding a place in the scene in a way. Not be just like a copy of something already existing, but then also be like finding your own place, meeting new people. And then we had the unfortunate event of me busting my knee. So I had to learn to walk again and learn to play drums again before we could do the second album. So we had a bit of a difficult road over there.
Yeah, we had the COVID-19 epidemic. We had Tom breaking his knee. So it was like, it was intense, but it also in a kind of way helps with writing the album, because it gives some setbacks, and sometimes it gives you the extra to go the extra mile, and for me also like stuff like that also helps me sometimes lyrically when writing the album, also musically, because metal is quite aggressive at times and also like expresses those feelings in a way. So it's a good way to write off all frustrations and stuff that happens. So yeah, it was heavy, but we already played some very cool venues with some cool bands also. So yeah, it's been great, actually. It's been great, heavy but great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know there has been a lot of highlight moments over the years, but do you guys have something special that you want to share with me today?
I think for me, the moment the drums were officially like recorded and hearing them the first time being recorded for the second album was like, oh damn, this is gonna be a heavy one. Like when it's the way we do stuff is like we do pre-production ahead and then we try to like make some MIDI drums happening and I program everything so it becomes sheet music actually. And then I go into the studio with the sheet music and I play the sheet music. So I know where I'm at. I know what I need to play. But it's a different thing of hearing like real drums instead of MIDI drums being programmed. But then the first listen you do, it's like, oh damn, this sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, that's my highlight. I think, like
Yeah.
everything coming together,
Yeah.
and also
For
like
me,
feeling it's a step up from the
Mhm.
previous album, like production wise, sound wise, or like finding your own sounds, finding your own interpretation of sound, like all that stuff. That it
Mhm.
suddenly is not the yeah. I think with Tim the Heater, we also like he did an amazing job at like helping to find sound
Yeah.
to help define guitar and bass sounds in a way we kind of didn't imagine was possible.
Mm-hmm.
But to make it our sound actually.
Mm-hmm.
So that also was pretty cool actually.
Interesting. Awesome. Awesome. And guys, finally, any message that you have for the fans around the world?
Oui.
Yes,
Yeah,
Steve.
of course. Yeah, of course. Of course, we have a message. So, first and for all, thank you to the fans, to the people who listen to our music, who buy our music, who buy our merch, who come to our shows. It's always a bit surreal knowing that you write music at home, and by the end of the process, people are like, yeah, I like this music, I'm going to listen to it. So it's kind of weird, because of course you can have the person living next to you or your family listening to your music, but it's kind of weird if you then like hear people from all over the world like write you, message you, and be like, I like this music. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's very surreal. So thank you. I hope you all enjoyed the second album as much as we do, and have fun with it like we had writing it. So that would be my main message. Just like thank you to everybody who listens to our music.
Interesting. And guys, I want to thank you both so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you guys
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And a big thank you for you guys for putting up this awesome album too this year. Like I said earlier, it's a fantastic one from the start to the end. It's like an amazing experience to listen to the music, and great work from you guys. So thank you for
Cool.
the awesomeness. And I'm
Thank you
really
so
hoping
much.
someday we'll meet on the road.
Yeah, of
Cool.
course.
Cool.
That will be
Same,
awesome.
Keith. Yeah.
We come to India.
Absolutely, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. People love you. It'll be awesome.
All
Thanks, guys.
right.
Thanks so much. I wish you both a good day and take care of yourself. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ciao.
Keith.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.